the common 30-round magazine and firing the new NATO standard 5.56mm ammunition based on the Belgian SS-109 round.
Time spent in preparation is always time well spent, often lives well saved, sometimes even the difference between success and failure. The orders, the timings, the actions, everything must be rehearsed by day and if possible by night.
Welcome to part 5 of our military fieldcraft series. In this episode, we're going to be discussing your personal weapon system and 10 things that you absolutely have to understand about it. So with that, let's get into it. Because I can't be there to go through your individual rifle, this video is going to give you the 10 things that you must know and understand about the weapon system that you're running. Or if you're thinking of purchasing something different, this video will give you an idea of things to consider when going through your options. Allow this video to also be a guideline. There's a lot out there about what to get, what to use, what's good, what's bad, but this video and these 10 tips can be a fantastic way to kind of ask yourself questions about what might work well for you. It also is a fantastic way of, once you get your first rifle, where to go from there, and the process and things you should learn about in regards to your personal rifle. To get started, this video is going to be focusing on a semi-automatic, intermediate cartridge, gas-operated, shoulder-fired firearm, or the AR-15 or AK-47 platforms. So there are many options out there. Again, you may be restricted on what you can own depending on your country of citizenship and where you reside, but we're going to be focusing primarily on those infantry, small-armed, intermediate cartridge rifles, such as the ones seen here. You're all going to ask, this is an airsoft gun, it is not real. Airsoft is a great training tool, and if you're not old enough to own firearms, start these safety habits with airsoft guns. They're great, they're safe, you can run around, have fun with them. Again, be responsible with them as always. This is a custom build, it took me a few years, it's got a lot of real components on there, and it's an LD5A2 that is basically what the Royal Marines had in Afghanistan from 2010 to 2012. I just absolutely love the look of it. I know it's not real, I just think it looks awesome. I'm a bullpup guy, sue me. So the first thing that you need to know is, what is your rifle? That might sound obvious, but not a lot of people know. Know your make, the model, the type, and the caliber. You should also understand how it works, not just knowing the name of your firearm, but really get into the nitty-gritty of how it works. That way, when something jams or when something breaks, you're going to understand how to fix it. So, know the exact make and model of your firearm, know how it breaks, know how it works, and also know details such as the barrel twist, how long the barrel lasts, what type of lining the barrel has, and what type of sight systems it has. Has it got iron sights? Does it come with no sights? And that's going to lead us into the second thing that you need to know about your rifle. The second thing that you need to know and understand about your rifle is what optic you have. There are many, many types. Commonly, rifles will come with iron sights, such as this KUSA, or the plain Jane M16 model. Oftentimes, they'll come with iron sights. Even if you plan on putting a optic onto your firearm, you should absolutely zero and understand how your iron sights work. That way, when you get more firearms or you're helping someone, you can help them understand how zeroing works and how to utilize the most basic form of sighting system on a rifle, which is your iron sights. Moving on from this is your optic. There are many different types of optics. Right here we've got a Trigicon ACOG with an RMR red dot mount. You've got holographic sights such as the EOTechs, and simple red dots such as this SIG. Understand which sight system you have. They all have advantages and disadvantages we won't get into, but once you pick your optic and have your iron sight zeroed, understand what your battery life is. What type of batteries does it take? Are there any weaknesses? What happens when it gets hot? Can it overheat? What happens when it gets cold? Old EOTechs had what's called thermal drift, meaning in temperature ranges, they would actually lose zero. Understand these things about your optics. The Trigicon is powered by the fucking sun, so it's never going to lose battery, right? But my RMR, which is mounted on top, is powered by a battery. What type of battery does it take? Another thing about optics is some optics have a simple red dot, but others have more complicated sighting systems. These can include BDCs, bullet drop compensators, MILRAD, or MRAD. Understand which sighting system that your optics have and understand how to use it. Oftentimes, optic systems are designed in such a way that they can be used to measure distance, a person, and speed of movement. The ACOG can do this, the Trigicon sights can do this, primary arms, ACSS reticles are fantastic at this. So understand what your optic is, the battery, its limitations, and how to fully utilize that reticle. The third thing that you need to understand about your personal rifle is what type of ammunition you're using. Understand the caliber of your firearm. Is it 5.56? Is it 7.62? Is it 5.45? Is it 308? Is it 7.62 NATO? Once you understand your cartridge, you can understand all the grains. Is it 55 grain? Is it 62 grain? Is it steel tip? Really get into the minutiae of what you're using. Always zero your rifle with the ammunition you plan to go to war with. Do not zero with training ammo and then have your magazines that you're going to fight with full of a different type of caliber. Sorry, a different type of round. For example, I use 55 grain for training, but my go to war round is 62 grain. Therefore, everything is zeroed with my 62 grain. Even though the distance on zero may be absolutely tiny, when it matters, it's going to matter. So understand the type of ammunition you're running. Understand the ballistics. What can you shoot through? What can't you shoot through? What does it do to body armor? What type of armor can it defeat? What's the range? What's the effective range? The scope might say 800 meters, your sights might say 1,000. Doesn't mean that the bullet is capable of that. So understand what your ammunition is capable of doing and zero your sights appropriately. Now that we know the type of ammunition, your fourth thing is going to be understanding what happens when you shoot at distance and when you shoot close up. This can fall under ballistics. Understand what your rounds do when it's cold, what your sights do when it's cold, what your round does when it's hot, or how does it act in the wind, or understanding your height over bore. This is the distance between the barrel and the sight. This means that you may zero your rifle, but as you move further away, those two lines are going to separate and you get your height over bore. My height over bore with my RMR is huge, right? It's almost about 4.5, 5 inches. So when I shoot up close with the RMR, I need to aim 5 inches above where I want to hit. But again, as it goes further away to my zero, it's going to become 4, 3, 2 inches, and so on. This is where training with your weapon system and rifle really comes into its own. Really focus on one and understand how to use it and how that translates to different distances. Number 5 is how to clean your rifle. Understand how to take your rifle apart, all the points at which it could fail, and the actual machining and quality of those materials. Know what your bolt's made out of, your barrel's made out of. Know how to take apart, clean, and maintain your rifle. After all, it's yours, and you're gonna have to depend on it. So, like anything, if you take good care of your gear, it will take good care of you. Number 6 is how to clear malfunctions. What do you do when you get a stoppage? What do you do when a round gets stuck? What do you do if there's a failure to eject? What do you do if there's a misfire? These are ultimately machines, and machines do fail. And when we introduce adverse conditions, such as dust, the hot and the cold, things can go wrong. So understand how to clear malfunctions. Number 7 is accessories. Some of these you'll see before me have accessories, such as grips, light laser modules, lights, compensators, and slings. Do you need these accessories? Ask yourself. Understand the why behind you need them. A sling, in my opinion, is necessary. A light is also necessary. Do you need a laser module? Do you need a grip? Don't just throw things on your rifle willy-nilly. Understand the why behind them. Talk to your friends, your mates, and experiment on what works and what doesn't, but know the why behind everything is on your rifle. You'll see a lot of these are very bare bone. That's because I don't believe in having bullshit on your rifle. Have only what you need. And once you've put it on and placed it, keep it there and train with it. Number 8 is be comfortable with the manipulation of your weapon system and manual of arms. Be comfortable with all the different controls and safeties, but also be comfortable with how to actually handle it. How do you put it on the ground? How do you pick it up? Oftentimes we want to grab the grip, but this isn't the best way to handle a rifle. But each rifle is different. How I handle a bullpup will be very different to how I handle a conventional rifle. So be comfortable with the manual of arms. Unique weapons, especially such as H&Ks, can be extremely unique in the manual of arms. So become familiar with your manual of arms, become comfortable with handling that weapon. How do you sling it over your kit? How do you get down prone? There are many, many different ways you can train this. So have fun with it and experiment with everything. Number 9 is know what parts your rifle can interchange. Some manufacturers, especially with modern ARs, have many interchangeable parts. And then others, such as AK platforms, are a bit more particular about what components you can change. Know what your rifle can accept. Common pistols such as Glocks and many modern AR platforms can change many, many parts, and there's a wide variety as well. Again, know the materials, what your rifle likes, what it doesn't like, the weaknesses, and what parts you can interchange if something breaks. That way, your team can keep spare parts, and you won't have an entire armory of options for each specific platform. Other things, such as magazines, are I would consider an interchangeable component. But some different manufacturers and firearms, especially AKs, are very fussy about the types of magazines. So know what parts and mags your weapon can and can't accept. Lastly is going to be understanding yourself. Understand how you shoot. How do you shoot when you get tired? How do you shoot when you're out of breath? Maybe you pick up the rifle a certain way and your sight picture isn't right. So do you have to adjust yourself? Can you make improvements to your rifle to make that easier for you? You can also video yourself and understand, are you always having your finger safe and off the trigger? Do you put the weapon on safe subconsciously? Knowing yourself is just as important as knowing all the technical things about your rifle. After all, you can know everything about your rifle, but it could sit there and do nothing. You're the operator, be safe, be confident, and that's going to make a world of difference, not only to yourself, but your team as well. And that was 10 things that you have to absolutely understand about your personal rifle. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. As always, look out for your mates, look after each other. And for closing thoughts today, very applicable. When it comes to safety, when it comes to being competent in your tools, do not be scared to hold someone else accountable or take this seriously. Especially when it comes to safety and this stuff, guys, take it very seriously. And if you see someone that isn't, give them a nudge and get them in check. Again, let's make this a good, safe, welcoming community. Let's not be the community that shuns people away. Let's be safe and responsible. All right, thanks guys. Get out there, train, and as always, have fun.